You're listening to the Ecosystem Approach show. I'm Jason.
And I'm Patricia. Tune in every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time and 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Transformation Talk Radio.
We discovered that human potential is severely limited when you program humans like a machine, which is standard practice today for self-improvement.
The ecosystem approach teaches you how to uncover your infinite potential by using natural methods that are truly revolutionary. Join us now for the Ecosystem Approach show. Your carbon footprint is a major part of climate change. We live in a place that is high risk for forest fires, and a town similar to ours burnt to the ground a couple of years ago. So climate change and carbon footprint is very important to us. For today's show, we're going to talk about your carbon footprint and the major missing piece. I'm so excited for this show today, everybody. I have to say that. So what can you do that makes the most sense? This is a unique perspective. I think you'll find this to be a fascinating show.
It's really a wild perspective.
It really is, but it's a good one.
If you've ever thought about carbon footprint, you have to listen today.
Please do.
Yeah.
We are married intuitives with over 25 years experience who created the ecosystem approach. This is a groundbreaking way to see yourself in this age of Aquarius. We help you unleash healing and potential that is unknown today and is totally unique to you personally. This is not your typical type of energy work. We help you with life-changing internal discovery that is powerful, rational, practical, and useful for everyday life. Jason, why is a person's carbon footprint so important? And what does it have to do with the ecosystem approach?
Well, first, the second question.
Okay.
The ecosystem approach is all about restoring natural function to human beings for the best performance, not the least performance, and to help with mental health and well-being.
Okay.
So what does this have to do with the ecosystem approach? So
so Jason, what does it?
I know that was
it.
That was for line. So I just jumped, just so you know. So
wait, ow, he stepped on me. Sorry.
The ecosystem approach is named this way because human potential is released and maximized using an ecological and natural approach to human development. Climate change is the result of unnatural activity.
Yes.
Most self-help today is the result of unnatural activity.
Right.
So that's why the ecosystem approach is so concerned about climate change and being natural or being unnatural, because it's a major part of how we think and how we view the world.
Well, and how our carbon footprint, we don't realize that how much our carbon footprint is affecting not only us, but everyone else.
And the carbon footprints of those people around us.
That's right.
And, in terms of our country, in terms of the industry.
Exactly.
And pollution today comes from unnatural human activity. Change requires overcoming resistance, greed, and fear, and complacency, which we'll talk a little bit more about coming up.
So what is a carbon footprint?
So I looked it up. Nature Conservancy describes it. This is verbatim. A carbon footprint is the total amount of greenhouse gases, including carbon dioxide and methane, that are generated by our actions. These formulas you can use to calculate your carbon footprint. The buildup of carbon and greenhouse gases is what creates climate change.
Right.
But wait, before you go and calculate your carbon footprint, wait to the end of the show. Right. Now, there's a lot of websites online today that you can literally go there, and they'll help you do some calculations to determine your actual carbon footprint.
Right. You have some generalizations here, though. Correct?
Yes. I'm going to talk about carbon production and the climate.
Okay.
And you might just find this interesting. I pulled up a website in terms of the carbon generated by a country. So in 2022, this is for 2022, the United States produces 14.9 tons per person of carbon.
I mean, I want everyone to think about that. By the way, this is per year or per lifetime.
I think it's I think it's per year.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
First off, I'm overwhelmed by that number, everyone, for the simple fact of with a few simple things, we can change that. And we can change it individually. And I know we're going to talk more about that individually, but also collectively. And it amazes me that we've been so, I'm going to use, I think it's, I'm going to say either blinded or oblivious to the things that we've done. It truly amazes me.
So just for comparison, okay. Russia produces 11.4 tons per person.
Okay.
United States again was 14.9.
Yeah.
China produces only 8 tons per person, but this is deceiving because they have the biggest population and they're responsible for 53% of the world's carbon
Wow.
production.
Wow.
Where the United States in 2022
Okay.
is responsible for only 0.05%. Is that right?
Wow.
Yeah. So
but wait a minute. Let's I realize we're talking about numbers here, but the truth is, everyone, it doesn't matter how much it does matter, excuse me, it does matter. But what we're getting at is that it's time to take a look at ourselves and see how much each one of us produces, but also to figure out ways to stop producing this kind of garbage in the world and contributing to it. Because the truth is, we're killing ourselves.
Well, and I think the key for this segment especially is this idea that carbon is produced because of unnatural human activity.
Such as the use of plastic bags and gasoline and those kind of things. Is that what you mean?
Yes, in general. I think when you start talking about specifics, it gets a little more murky.
Okay.
You know, it used to be before cars, there was the horse.
Yes.
Horse and buggy. Okay. And but I guess horses produce they produce methane,
Yes, they do.
And it really it was difficult because you had to feed them, you had to let them rest, you had to give them water,
right?
And they had personalities, which for human beings, is difficult sometimes.
Well, sometimes horses have better personalities than humans.
There's this very, very steep incline. It's called Priest Grade, and it was relatively famous because they would use this path, which was I think it's like a 30% grade.
It's actually even more than that. I think
it's really, really steep,
right?
And they would have a place in the middle of it to change the horses.
That is correct. But also, if there was too much luggage, if it was too hot, meaning if the conditions weren't the best for the horses, they would make people, and by the way, this is a little more than a mile, almost straight up a hill. They would make people actually get out of the stagecoach or actually get off their horses, and they had to walk up this hill. And by the way, this hill was the only way at the time. Mark Twain, Ansel Adams, and of course, I can't think of the other one for whatever reason. They had to walk up this hill. And by the way, it wasn't.
And there was more than 3 people, but yes, it was quite a few. Well, exactly. So when you went to visit Yosemite,
famous.
Yes, okay. When you were go to visit Yosemite in the beginning, 100 years ago, 150 years ago.
Correct.
This is how you got there.
Exactly.
And it's kind of interesting. I guess they had stories about how some horses died.
Yes.
Because
from exhaustion and
heat exhaustion
and pulling too much weight.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was a big deal. But obviously that was a more natural way of dealing with it.
Right. In other words, let's go back to the carbon footprint.
Yes, yes. So, we've technology has automated a lot of things that have been helpful to human progress. And I'm not suggesting that we go back to the horse and buggy either. So, again, our perspective is really interesting. Stay tuned for the next segment. So,
well, Jason, how about doing the summary of this segment?
The ecosystem approach was named this way to reflect the way human beings should treat themselves in a way that is in alignment with nature and organic to the way people are created. Talking about carbon footprint is truly in alignment with the quest to be more natural and organic in the world. Climate change is the result of unnatural human activity. The ecosystem approach seeks to treat ourselves more naturally versus like a machine, which is unnatural. Your carbon footprint seeks to measure the amount of carbon you produce from daily living. But before you go and try and determine your personal carbon footprint, listen to the end of the show. We have a different perspective that truly goes to the root of the problem.
Absolutely. In the next segment, we're going to talk about the missing piece around a carbon footprint and individual activities that can make a huge difference with climate and the pollution of the earth. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about the missing piece around a carbon footprint and individual activities that can make a huge difference with climate and the pollution of the earth. Jason, what is the missing piece around the carbon footprint?
A broader perspective around the problem and the real solution.
Okay, what is the root issue for climate change then?
It's pollution that comes from population growth, but that's not the root. In most cases, we have technology to overcome pollution. Why is there not a collective will and agreement about basic solutions?
Okay,
that's the key. Why can't people agree upon this? It's almost so obvious. Collective action is essential for climate change. I see that the greatest strides will come from government and industry-wide action, not individual action. And
that wasn't really the answer I was expecting.
It's not, and frankly, I think it's just kind of logical.
Okay.
Some of in the charts that we were looking on the last segment, the most affluent countries produce the most carbon. And per person, per capita.
Okay.
And even though China produces the most, and it's not as affluent as the United States, they still produce a lot of carbon.
Well, when you have that many people in a contained area, I'll say it that way.
They don't have the will to, there's a lot more pollution type activities, coal burning and things like that there,
right,
than there is here.
Okay.
Okay. But
makes sense.
The collective action, I think, is huge.
Okay.
And that's why they had the Paris Climate Agreement, so people can come together.
Right. I forgot about that. Yes. So then I'm going to ask the next question. What is the opportunity cost for everything you do?
This seems like it's kind of out in left field, but I think it just hits the point. Opportunity cost is a business term used to describe what happens when a company commits capital in one area. Then there's an opportunity cost because they cannot commit that capital in another area of the business. Okay. It's the same concept.
Such as the off gases of whatever they were producing?
No.
Okay. I'm not clear.
So if you're going to put money into marketing, you may not be able to put money into developing your factory.
I see.
If you're going to put money into your personnel system or to your computer, you might not be able to put it into marketing.
Understood.
Okay. So that's opportunity cost. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
I'd like to think this way in terms of personal development. My biggest frustration with personal development programs that are time consuming, but do not get to the core issues. And why is that a frustration for me? Because if you're spending time trying to develop yourself, and you know, Patricia won't let me watch TV sometimes because I get so mad at the TV screen when I see certain things being promoted.
Yes.
And I know that it doesn't get to the root. It takes time and effort to work on,
Yes.
but it doesn't get to the root. And so you're working over here, but then you still have all these over problems over here.
And the famous saying is, they missed the point completely.
So how does this affect carbon footprint? Well, trying to determine your personal carbon footprint is in that category. I don't believe that it's the most important thing you can do to resolve climate change and reduce pollution in the world. It's not that it's not important. It's not the most important thing. And if you commit to figure out your carbon footprint and working on that, that takes away from your ability to develop, have personal development, work on your evolution, which is what we talk about all the time here.
Yes, we do.
So determining your carbon footprint and then spending time and money to lower it is not, in my opinion, the most important thing you can do for climate.
Okay. So wait a minute. Alternative focus rather than individual carbon footprint. Is that what you mean?
Well, yes. This is a different way of seeing it.
Okay.
To understand, first you have to understand the basics. So to have an alternative focus rather than the individual carbon footprint.
Understood.
When you live your life via programming, in other words, people tell you what to think, how to feel, how to act.
A formula in which you're supposed to live your life.
A lot of self-help is like this, where they say, just do this, this, and this, and you'll get this. I see this a lot about marriage. There's a Time Life book out about the science of marriage. And it's in the grocery store. So as Patricia and I are going shopping and I'm going to the grocery store, she tries to shush me so I don't make a scene. Because, the science of marriage basically says, well, these are the traits of a good marriage. So the implication is if you just know what the traits are, you can do them yourself. In other words, you can program yourself. You could force yourself to act a different way, and therefore that will create a good marriage. No, it doesn't work that way. So let me keep going. But we see the soul or essence was always the way humans were designed to take their cues about what to believe and how to act and how to present themselves in the world. Almost all of us, because of programming, our essence is not healthy. It's not something that we've done wrong. It's just that it's accumulated negative energy. This does not function the way it was designed. But if it were healthy, it would be naturally motivated to care for our surroundings. It would be naturally open to other lifestyles and beliefs. We would want to care for our bodies without being motivated. The negative energy attached to your essence makes it unhealthy. So, the most efficient approach for self-improvement and development, when choosing the most efficient and effective way to help yourself, the ecosystem. That was wrong. Okay.
Go back and do the negative energy attached to our essence makes it unhealthy. Also, it is the most efficient approach for self-improvement and development.
Well,
there you go.
Exactly, because the negative energy is what's the problem. And that's what we should focus on when we do self-improvement and development. So when you choose the most efficient, effective way to help yourself, the ecosystem approach is designed to help you in multiple areas at the same time. In other words, when you work at the level of your essence, you can affect problems in your life with money, with relationships, with health, just feeling good, having good well-being.
And even how you perceive the environment around you. From a perspective that basically says, I need to care about myself, but I also need to care about what else there is. And I'm going to give an example, and we did talk about this yesterday a little bit, but I know someone who goes to the grocery store, is asked plastic or paper, and in the state we live in, you can do that. She always says plastic. She comes home, she unloads her groceries, and then she takes those plastic bags and throws them away. And it's as if it says to me, I don't care about the environment and it doesn't matter because what I'm doing in my life is more important than for me to see out there what's important.
Well, and here's
in
the
the
point
world.
to that story.
Which is,
Okay. The problem is that she has negative energy attached to her essence, which makes it hard for her to see the benefit of recycling those plastic
and
bags.
folding them up and taking them back to the store.
Exactly.
Exactly.
You know, or
that
using them again,
or exactly.
it's a small thing.
I know it's a small thing, I admit, but small things become big things.
What if the people that advocate for better lower carbon
Yes.
would say you should do this, and if you don't do this, you're a bad person. And it creates guilt, it creates fear. Oh my gosh, I didn't, I threw away this plastic bag. What's going to happen to the planet? Blah 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 blah. That's not the way to do it.
No.
To tell someone they should or they have to, or that a good person will do this. The way to do it is to start removing the negative energy from your essence, and then you naturally, you can't help yourself.
That's correct.
You're going to say, I want to fold these plastic bags up, which is kind of a stupid example, but it's not really.
Not really, because everybody's affected by that. Oh, and actually deals with
You
it.
see the benefit of it. It's important, and you do it.
Yes.
You don't have to be motivated. You don't have to be guilted. You don't have to be fear-mongered.
Yes.
You just know that it's the right thing to do.
Right.
So when you work at the level of essence, you can solve all these multiple problems at the same time.
Correct.
That's the beauty of it.
Correct.
And that's why the ecosystem approach is so important.
Well, and also when you work at the level of your essence, you start to see all the things that you're being affected by, and sometimes one at a time, sometimes more than one. But by using the ecosystem approach and removing the negative energy, you can make a difference, starting with yourself and then the environment.
Here's the connection that most people don't make.
Okay.
You can have a money problem over here and a health problem over here.
Correct.
And not understand how they're related.
Because they don't understand the energy.
Because they've been programmed to look at one problem at a time.
Correct.
You have a money problem, you get a money expert. You have a health problem, you get a health expert. Okay.
Correct.
But when we see that everything stems from your essence.
Everything.
So we can see that you could have the same negative energy that's affecting both your health problem and the negative energy problem.
And your money and your relationship problems.
Exactly.
Things like that.
So if you just work on the negative energy, it's far more efficient, it's far more effective, and you can it's like a triple jump in checkers. You get a lot of value for just the same time and effort.
You do.
Now, working at the level of essence is time consuming and difficult. And but compared to all the other things,
correct,
it's so much more efficient and effective.
All right. So, Jason, what is the summary of this segment?
Many people advocate to understand and try and reduce their carbon footprint, but we, as intuitives, see that human beings living via being programmed versus living from your essence is the key. Many people seek to control how others are programmed, but we know that the best way to live is via healthy essence. With a healthy essence, humans would naturally care for themselves and the natural world. All this conflict between people about what's the best thing to do would start to evaporate. Living from a healthy essence has the least opportunity cost and is highly efficient and effective. Removing negative energy from essence is the key.
In the next segment, we're going to talk about how most activities to reduce carbon also connect you with feelings of guilt and fear. We were sort of talking about it a little bit, but there is a way to help yourself and help with climate change that is a win-win with no negatives or downsides. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to talk about how most activities to reduce carbon also connect you with feelings of guilt and fear. But there is a way to help yourself and help with climate change that is a win-win with no negatives or downsides. Okay, Jason, what do you mean when you say that most activities to reduce carbon footprint create fear and guilt?
The fear that you are personally responsible for producing too much carbon and the associated guilt. Is it your responsibility? Should it be your responsibility? And the answer is, instead of feeling guilty or having fear of it, what if you could come from a place that it just naturally felt that way? You naturally wanted to do it. In other words, it was a natural motivation.
Correct.
That's what we're getting to. And
Right.
it's not we're saying that you should go out and pollute. You should go out and throw those plastic grocery bags in the trash. We always carry a big pile of them back to the grocery store.
We do.
And we're some people think we're strange for doing that, but it's because and here's the point, I guess, in all of this, because we've been removing this negative energy from our essence.
Correct.
We have a natural affinity toward being healthy in the world.
Yes.
Our physical health,
yes,
the planet's health, the health of our land that our house sits on,
yes,
the health of our dogs,
even the health of Jason's mom, whom, by the way, spent most of her life. I'm not going to say she wasn't healthy, but she had no idea of how much negative energy that she was collecting in her lifetime.
She was a nurse. She was a healthcare professional.
Truly.
And it was all about following the rules of the medical profession,
Right.
as opposed to, okay, what's the negative energy that's attached to me that I have to.
Correct.
And frankly, right now, that negative energy is coming out in dementia.
Yeah.
Because she never took care of it, and we're taking care of it, because we see it. It's right there. It's
affecting all of us.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So, Jason, talk about the carbon reducing activities. What does that mean?
Reducing energy use or make your home and workplace more energy efficient. We went to another website, Green Citizen blog, about how to reduce your carbon footprint.
Okay.
So here's some things that they suggested. Okay. Switch to renewable energy sources. The point about this list here is that there's always pros and cons.
Of course.
It's easy to say switch to renewable energy sources, but it can be expensive.
Yeah,
you
true.
might have to balance the expense of some solar panels with some clothes for your kids back to school. It's coming up. Back to school coming up.
Yes.
I saw a video one time that electric cars create more carbon to be manufactured than regular cars.
Yeah.
Huh.
Okay.
It
so
makes
where's
you
the
think.
balance there? Is what he's saying.
It's not clear cut.
Yes.
Invest in green technology, and again, same thing. But little Johnny needs shoes.
Right.
Drive less. Use alternative eco-friendly modes of transportation. Well, we drive less, but it's kind of happens organically. It's easier for us. When it's raining outside, it's hard to ride your bike.
Yeah.
There are some places
sometimes
I've seen more controversy. We used to live in the Bay Area, the San Francisco Bay Area. There was more controversy about cars versus bikes.
And
it was dangerous.
Very, very, very dangerous.
So
yes, I agree.
It's a nice idea. Fly less. So when you jump on an airplane
to go see grandma,
you're using the jet fuel uses a lot of carbon, creates a lot of carbon.
Right.
But grandma doesn't care about your carbon footprint.
Right.
If you haven't seen her in 2 or 3 years and you say, well, I'm going to reduce my carbon footprint, we're not going to see you this year.
Grandma's not going to be a happy camper. We'll put it that
way. Right.
Yeah.
Reducing water use.
And by the way, he wrote grandma stinks.
Because she has that old person smell. So we need to give her showers probably more frequently than she wants to. So
I guarantee you that is the truth. Okay. So what about food waste?
Kids are picky eaters.
They are. They can be.
My daughter used to be a really picky eater. So
okay.
That makes it difficult. And eat less meat. There's a lot of prejudice against vegetarians. We see that up here because this is a ranching community outside of Yosemite, a lot of ranches here, and say you're vegetarian and it's like
like
you're an alien.
Yourself blue. Yes, exactly. Well, and I need to make this comment. When you know yourself better, and especially using the ecosystem approach, there are times, especially in women's life, that I've seen, and I am kind of talking about my age here, but I was a vegetarian for 30 years, and now I am not. And I am not because my body requires more refined protein. Good old-fashioned protein, let me say it that way, as it didn't before when I was younger. And I'm truly amazed by it, but I also know that my body, because I do talk to myself, I am connected with the essence of who I am. My body tells me what I need. And right now, red meat is one of them. So, Jason, what is the missing piece about carbon reduction?
This is probably the most important part of the show.
Okay.
As intuitives, and you wouldn't see this otherwise, we see that clearly that being programmed to reduce carbon is extremely short-sighted. That's what everybody wants to do. They want to educate people to understand climate and climate change and how carbon affects us and how we can be more natural and grow our own food, that sort of thing. But education is a form of programming. I would suggest that human beings will continue to destroy the planet if programming is used to fix problems. For example, the truth in our culture is based on the idea that creating change happens with programming people. And I say no. To me, this is like putting a Band-Aid on a festering sore. Using programming might reduce carbon for a group of people, but then it could, because the negative energy is still present in the world.
There you go.
We could still kill each other with nuclear war.
Yeah.
Because it's not helping us evolve. Yeah. We have to be, programming doesn't help you evolve.
Right.
What we need to do is have evolve, which is removing negative energy from your essence. Right. And how do you do that? Well, the ecosystem approach helps you see the world in many different perspectives, not just one. It is very, very important. Oh my gosh, what's not understood is people say, okay, I'm going to lower my carbon footprint, but they don't understand that they're focusing over here, but there's these people over here that want to dominate humanity, and they're gonna kill people. They're gonna create a bioweapon. They're gonna create
correct.
There might be just a natural. I see that pandemic.
Yes.
Is a result of negative energy. Now, I can't make that in a scientific, rational way, say that negative energy is directly related to these bugs that are transmitted all over the world. But I see that COVID-19, for example, its nexus, its root was negative energy. And it had to do with what's going on in the world today.
Correct.
If we remove negative energy, that's the solution. That's where we should focus. That's what we should do to help ourselves.
Well, and I was just going to say, helping ourselves and the climate at the same time. Can we do that?
The most important thing you can do is work on your personal evolution. Which is to heal your essence using the ecosystem approach by removing the negative energy. As your essence heals, you will naturally want to be more sustainable and use less carbon.
There you go. Well, wait a minute. Is there a real solution to climate change, Jason?
Human beings have to be collectively more evolved. That's not only do we have an essence, but the world collectively has an essence.
Correct.
And, countries have an essence, a soul.
Yes.
So what happens when all the world's problems are, um, when you start removing the negative energy, all the world's problems are going to be reduced. The health, the shortages, the
Yes.
greed,
Yes.
the people that want power over here and at the expense of other people
Well, and
we're gonna see that we're all connected.
yes.
An evolved person knows that we're all connected, and what the way they treat themselves is almost as important as the way they treat the person next to them.
Well, exactly. But and I want to say this, and this is my own personal experience. When you remove negative energy, you no longer have the blocks or the things that blind you, or
Yes.
veils
and illusions.
Veils and illusions. That's the words I was looking for. What happens is you can see directly in front of you or around you what the actual truth is of a problem, and then solutions can happen, and using the ecosystem approach to help those solutions happen. That's the way to get it done.
As you work on yourself and make your essence healthier, there is a huge benefit that's impossible to quantify.
Yes.
So as you evolve, there's an effect with everybody around you. You actually create a path.
Yes.
That's invisible for most people,
Yeah.
but it shows that others can evolve too.
Yes.
When
exactly.
so you can be evolving over here, and you may affect people over here.
Okay.
And they can say, "Oh, yeah, I can do that.
Yes.
Yeah, this is what I need to do. Yeah,
exactly.
I'll do that."
Exactly. So, Jason, what is the summary of this segment?
Programming people to reduce their carbon footprint with education and using fear and guilt is short-sighted and will just address one issue. However, people will not evolve, and we would collectively kill each other with nuclear war, worldwide pandemics, bioweapons, and all manner of other difficulties that can negatively affect the human condition. The opportunity cost of focusing on reducing a person's individual carbon footprint is too high when you really need to focus on your personal evolution using the ecosystem approach. If you make the personal choice to focus on your personal evolution, you will naturally gravitate to carbon reducing activities because it would just feel right to you. Using the ecosystem approach is the most efficient and effective way to work on your personal evolution and at the same time help the planet.
Now, here's where we usually discuss how to do the clearing or removing negative energy, but we're running out of time in this segment, so we're going to do it in the next one. Stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to help you consider your personal evolution and to focus on which truly helps yourself and the planet evolve. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia, and you're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. This is the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to help you consider your personal evolution and to focus on which truly helps yourself and the planet evolve. I love that combination.
Yeah.
Yourself and the planet evolve. To me, that's truly amazing.
Win-win.
It is a win-win. Actually, it's a win-win-win, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, Jason, we need to tell everyone how to do the clearing, removing negative energy, and then we'll get into it, everyone.
It's very simple. Just you use your imagination. So when we say to eliminate, whether it's veils and illusions, barriers, or specific emotions, in your mind's eye, in your imagination, gather those up from the tips of your toes, gather them up and blow them into the processor. Moxie's going to put the picture of the processor up right now.
Yes.
It goes in the top, it gets processed, comes out neutral, which is a very ecologically pure way of dealing with negative energy. It gets processed.
Yes.
Negative energy is converted into neutral. It's perfect.
And it's not only helps you, but helps or everything around you
It helps
as well.
reduce the negative energy
It
in the world.
really does.
Yes.
It really does. It's pretty amazing. Then after that, we're going to activate life force, the most powerful energy that anyone has access to. And we're going to do a little more clearing, removing negative energy with that. But we're also going to be adding amazing things back in. So we can have that balance and feel really good about ourselves. So Jason, are you ready?
Yep. Here we
Take it
go.
away.
I direct all my resources in all dimensions to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that focusing on my personal carbon footprint may not be the most effective way to get to the root of climate change.
Ooh, nice and easy. Take a breath and blow it out. We're getting rid of veils and illusions so you can see how to balance your carbon footprint with who you are. So I'm going to shorten it up and to eliminate the barriers so I can see that when self-development programs do not get to the root problems in my life, they take time and resources away from my ability to really work on the root negative energies in my life. Nice and easy. Get rid of those barriers, pick them up, and throw them away.
And to eliminate the stress, anxiety, and overwhelm I have because I'm not doing all that I can to help lower my carbon footprint.
Yes. Get rid of the stress, anxiety, overwhelm. Think about it. It could be blocking you from seeing all that you need to see and all you need to get rid of. Take a breath and throw it away. And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that the best thing I can do for myself and the planet is to focus on my personal evolution. Because when I do that, I'm not only helping me, but I am going to help the planet. Take a breath and blow it out.
And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that just working on my carbon footprint does not help the world evolve. That just by working on my carbon footprint, it doesn't help the world evolve. It's just something very specific to me. Take a breath.
And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that the accumulation of negative energy in the world and for me personally is the root problem that, and just focusing on climate allows the negative energy to find another way to make the world unlivable, like nuclear war, worldwide, that was backwards, pandemics, and bioweapons and things like that. Nice and easy. Get rid of those veils and illusions and blow it out. Jason?
And to eliminate the veils and illusions so that I can see that individual and collective evolution of the human race is the key to making the planet a better place.
Yes.
And any focus other than that just plays whack-a-mole with the world, where you work on one problem over here and another one pops up over here in another area.
Get rid of those veils and illusions. Take a breath. And to eliminate the barriers so I can see that working on my personal evolution by removing the negative energy attached to my essence is the best, most effective, and efficient way I can do my life to help others with theirs. Take a breath and blow it out. Jason?
And to eliminate the barriers so I can see that programming myself or using programming methods for personal development is unnatural and toxic to me personally and to my essence.
There you go. Take a breath. And to eliminate the veils and illusions so I can see that my personal evolution is time-consuming and difficult, but is the best use of my time and effort for my life. That one is huge, everyone.
Yeah.
Take a breath, get rid of those veils and illusions. Now let's activate some life force energy. You ready? Follow along, everyone. I direct all my resources in all dimensions to activate life force energy so I can use that life force energy for awareness and clarity and even the courage to see what I've been blocked by or what I've been blocking so that I can make a difference in my life and in the lives of others starting right now. pull in that life force energy, let it go all the way to the tips of your toes. You're going to stop it right there. You're going to ask it to turn around, and you're going to ask it to come back up your body and get rid of more negative energy, because our bodies, unfortunately, have been very polluted. Blow out negative energy. Jason?
And to activate life force so I can have hope to have a better life by focusing on my personal evolution by removing the negative energy.
Pull it in and blow it out. And activate life force so I can trust that the focus on my evolution, in essence, is the best thing I can ever do in my life by using the ecosystem approach. Pull it in and blow out any negative energy.
And to activate life force so I can decide to use the ecosystem approach to help myself evolve starting right now.
Pull it in and blow it out. Last one, and to activate life force so I can be happy and healthy and have clarity, and also an awareness of the negative energy within me, remove it, and then also have the ability to remove negative energy around me so I can start making a difference, not only for me, but for everyone else in my life, starting right now. Pull it in and blow it out. I just have one little note that I want to say. The other day, Jason's mother was having a really hard time, and I said to her, "Joanne, you haven't laughed or smiled in weeks. Why are you so unhappy?" And she stopped for a second, and you could see the light in her eyes, and she said, "I hadn't realized. I've just been so overwhelmed by all of the stuff that's going on with me." And within a half hour, she started smiling and laughing again.
Because we were activating life force.
We were. Exactly. Thank you for that. Jason, what are we going to talk about next week?
Are you an intuitive person? Do you feel like a square peg in a round hole?
Yeah.
Or a round peg in a square hole? I don't know.
However it goes.
Most people that are intuitive don't fit into this world in the way that is considered typically acceptable.
Yes,
and
exactly.
This show is for you. There's no magic formulas or quick fixes for people that are intuitive.
No,
but they have a different perspective.
Yeah.
They approach a problem and they say, "Oh, I know the answer," but they might not be able to tell you.
They might not be able to articulate it.
Say, "Well, this is the answer because of this, this, and this."
Correct.
And these are the facts, and I took these facts and I created this conclusion.
Correct.
Intuitive people don't do it that way.
Right.
And I've had so many people come to me talking about, well, I feel like an outcast in a group. I'm at work and I'm trying to articulate my position, and I know I'm right, but I don't know how to say, well, because of this, 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 and this, when the truth is they're using their intuition and they just know.
Yes. It's kind of interesting. And by the way, it's something that I've felt all of my life. So we're going to talk more about that. Jason?
So if today's show said, "Oh my gosh, this is what I want. Oh my gosh, I need to have a bigger impact, starting with myself, so I can work on my own evolution and work on the evolution of the earth at the same time."
Correct.
This is what you do.
Okay.
First of all, watch our show every week. Go to our website, theecosystemapproach.org. Sign up for our free section. We have a YouTube channel, Ecosystem Approach. We're on Facebook. The ecosystemapproach.org is our Facebook name. We're on Instagram and TikTok and all those others. So
go check us out, everyone.
Check us out.
And by the way, get yourself a friend to do clearing with. It works. We'll connect next week, Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific and 4 p.m. Eastern Time. This is Transformation Talk Radio, and you're listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia.
Remember, your ecosystem is the most important one in the world.
Thank you for listening to the Ecosystem Approach Show with Jason and Patricia. I'm Patricia. Tune in every week as we discuss practical ways to apply the ecosystem approach and develop your potential to live your life on your terms. For more information, visit our website at theecosystemapproach.org.